What's the trouble with the taxes?
There's a lot of trouble with the taxes, John. That's because COVID has just scrambled where millions of Americans live and work, and that's just created a huge tax headache for those trying to figure out which state to pay and how much. Now, accountants say the first step, if you want to help through all this, is to count your days. If you lived and worked in a state other than your tax domicile for more than 183 days, you may be subject to income tax in that state, now depending on those state rules. And that's why you also need to check each state rules on COVID relief. Now, most states, they waived any claim to income tax on temporary residents, but some, like Connecticut, have not released details. So you got to make sure that when you document any move or you plan to move, you leave a paper trail. Now, if you're in New York, you left for Florida, and you will want to avoid New York taxes, you have to show proof of when you intended to move. Now, there are billions at stake for states. New Hampshire is actually suing Massachusetts, which continues to tax New Hampshire residents who used to commute but now haven't since COVID. Now, that case is before the Supreme Court. Same for New York, which continues to tax former commuters who haven't set foot in New York State since March. Over 400,000 people used to commute from New Jersey to New York before COVID. S&P estimates New York State will take more than $1 billion in tax revenue from New Jersey and more than $400 million from Connecticut from workers who still remain out of state. And John, with home work and work from home continuing, this is just going to be an issue long after COVID.
Yeah, Rob. I mean, what happens with this tax issue after we get out of this COVID situation and people either continue to work from home or are back in the office? I mean, I imagine states are going to be playing tug of war over this revenue.
Absolutely. And that's a great way to put it. You know, the tax code is not built for this future where a lot of people permanently work from home. And New York, the way it is now, if you report to Google in New York City, but you're going to work from home in North Carolina, New York State will tax you for every single day that you are paid. And that just doesn't make sense. And so everyone's looking to the Supreme Court to answer this question. And there could be huge tax dollars at risk for all the states, depending on how that goes.
Yeah, I imagine commercials trying to get people to come back into the office, not really saying that it's because we want your tax dollars. Robert Frank, thank you.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.